Hello and welcome to the very first Literally What podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Friedel, and let's get ready for some hot gossip, hot takes, advice, and stories that will have you saying, literally what? All right, before we jump into all the fun topics I have planned, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. If you're not following the Instagram, go give that a follow. It is literally with 2 Y's, what with 3 T's, and also go subscribe to the YouTube. Same as the Instagram. I am recording and uploading all the podcasts on YouTube. If you want to see my face and are so inclined to do that, definitely go subscribe. And then the last thing, I am going to be doing advice segments on every podcast. I want to help you guys out. I might not be helpful at all, but I'm going to try my best. So since this is the first episode, I obviously have not told you guys how to send me an advice. But what you're going to do is email literallywhat916@gmail with any advice you have. Can be about literally anything. I'm going to answer those every week. And when I have a guest or co-host on, we'll answer those together as well. And if you don't want me to know it's coming from you, just make a fake email. I have probably 20 fake email accounts, whether, I need it to have a subscription or I don't know. Sometimes I use fake emails to stalk people, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that later in the episodes. All right, now we're going to do a quick little rapid fire get to know me so you kind of know a little bit about who you're listening to. Like I said, I'm Taylor Friedel. I am 23 years old. However, I feel like I'm still 15. So I'm 23, feel like I'm a teenager. I just have way more responsibilities and trauma. And, the longer you live, the more crap you go through. It's so much fun and so enjoyable. I am a redhead. If you are not watching this on YouTube, I actually don't really look like a redhead right now in this camera, but I promise I am. So that means I have no soul. And all the freckles are souls I've taken of people. So, yeah, there's that for you guys. I am an Aquarius. I don't really believe in all of that stuff, but I think it's fun to talk to people. Most of my best friends are Aquariuses, and my fiance is an Aquarius. Which, yeah, I am engaged to my high school sweetheart. Love him to death. And we're getting married in 2 months. 2 months and I think 2 days, which is insane. Wedding planning is a whole nother stress level that I never thought would be this bad, but it's fun. It's a lot. I'm also very into personality tests. I am an Enneagram 9. If you don't know what an Enneagram is, don't worry, you'll learn a lot about it on this podcast. Every time I have someone come on the podcast with me, I'm going to make them take it. And I want every single one of you to learn what your Enneagram is because I think you learn a lot about yourself and other people. And I just love learning about other people. I think because I'm an empath and I want to try and make the people around me as happy as I can. So I like kind of learning all I can about the people close to me, which sounds so creepy. I swear it's not. I'm just trying to be nice. You know what I mean? But yeah, I am an Enneagram 9. So if you're an Enneagram 9, hi. I think 9's pretty good. They get along pretty well together. Growing up, I played volleyball. I did drama. I was a theater kid. Yeah, anyway, I am very girly, love pink. It's my favorite color, hence why everything with the podcast, I just glitched for a second, but everything's pink with the podcast. I was a volleyball coach and I ran their social media and that was super, super fun for me. And I've also interned at Disney World, which was so much fun. I love Disney. But yeah, I was born in Florida. I currently live in Georgia. And I am moving back to Florida with my fiance. Once we get married, we're moving down to Florida, and that's going to be a whole nother chapter of our lives. It's going to be a lot of change, but I am so, so, so excited. So there's a lot of change going on. I'm getting married. I'm starting a podcast. I'm moving to Florida. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a lot, but I'm excited for all of it. So yeah, why am I starting a podcast? Because I know every single person in the world has a podcast right now. I feel like it's one of those social media kind of things that everyone's like, oh, I need to have a podcast because everyone does and blah, blah, blah. And I don't mind that everyone has one because I love listening to podcasts. I think they're just very soothing for me. I'm a very anxious girl and anytime I'm in the car getting ready, I'm always having a playlist on, a podcast. Just, I think hearing the people's voices is just super soothing and I love it. So I thought, why not start my own, And growing up, I always would talk to myself, even today. Like if I'm in the car, I'll sometimes literally just talk to myself and pretend I'm on a podcast. And, it's one of those things where you never think to kind of start, or like, I guess you have these desires in your heart or things that you really enjoy and are like, oh, maybe I should do that one day. And you just put it off and never do it because you're like, what's the point of doing that? It's not going to go anywhere. I'm 23, blah, blah, blah. And that'll bring me to the only motivational speech I'll give to you guys, because I try not to be too like sappy in my life ever. But there was a day I woke up, I think it was probably like a month ago, and I just kept seeing all these quotes and stuff about, it doesn't matter where you are in your life. There's never going to be the right moment or the perfect moment to go and do something. There's never going to be like this aha, like, oh my gosh, I need to go try out for something today, or I need to start this today because this is the day that I'll go become famous or whatever. So I think my whole life I was always just kind of waiting. I was like, oh, I'll do something like this later, blah, blah, blah. Never did, and kept pushing it off. And now I'm 23, starting this podcast, and I don't even care if it doesn't go anywhere. I'm literally just doing this because I talk to myself all the time, and now I can just talk to whoever wants to listen to me. But no, this is just going to be really fun. And I have put a lot of hard work into it. I have a lot of fun things planned for the podcast. And when we do eventually move down to Florida, I'm going to have a super, super cute podcast background. So all of you guys should definitely start watching the YouTube when I get that background up. It's going to be so freaking awesome. I'm very, very excited. But yeah, so here we are starting this podcast randomly because why not? Life is very short, and I think everyone is drawn towards certain things. So what I will say to everyone listening to this is, if you feel like you want to go out and do something that might be like everyone might think is weird, or you don't think it's going to go anywhere, just do it because it's just going to make you happy. And we all need a little bit of dopamine in our lives. I feel like the world's a little crazy. So that's a little bit of why I'm starting this, and I think it'll be fun. I hope you guys enjoy listening. And if you don't, just don't tell me that you don't like it. Okay. Just move on and pretend this never, ever happened. All right. So yeah, that's all the background info I'm going to give you. This podcast is going to be very much, hopefully it's going to be funny and entertaining, and a way for you guys to kind of just put on something to have either in the background or just listen to. I'm not going to be getting very educational over here. I'm not a very logical person. I am very much emotionally driven in my life. So yeah, I'm not here to give any amazing educational advice or anything like that, but I am fun. I've gone through a lot of crazy things in my life, so you'll definitely be getting a lot of entertaining stories as we move on to this podcast, especially when I bring different guests on. It's going to be a lot of fun. But that's enough rambling. If you can't tell, I'm very nervous. I'm nervous like 24/7. So every day, every second, every minute of my life. But doing this is like out of my comfort zone for sure. So bear with me. I promise I'll get better at this. But now I'm going to go into some pop culture news stories, because I think it's super fun talking about what everyone else is going through in life. That's not me and people that are famous. So I want to start off, and I mean, obviously we've all heard Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, all things them. They're overtaking the news, I feel like. And if you haven't heard of them, then you definitely are 1000% living under a rock, and you need to be listening to me and this podcast, because I will help you out. You will have great stories and topics to go talk about with your friends or at the dinner table. But yeah, I want to do a little segment on them and everything that's been going on and surrounding them, because I think I'm going to get, people are going to be annoyed with my takes on these things, and that's fine. We don't have to agree on everything. We're not going to agree on everything. I can promise you that. And that's okay, because if everyone agreed with the same things and disagree with the same things, when it comes to, obviously, like, don't go murder someone, but when it comes to little news stories, that doesn't really matter in the big scheme of things, we're probably not going to agree, and that's okay, because then life would just be so boring. Anyway, Travis Kelce, he's on the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh my God, I hope I got that right. My fiance's gonna kill me. And Taylor Swift, who we all know, obviously, country pop singer, all over the news. Basically, she was seen at his football game, and she was with his mom, and it blew up, and it was everywhere. And I heard rumors before it was the first Sunday football. I heard rumors of them talking or whatever, and I guess when she showed up, that was like kind of confirmation for everyone. But it's crazy to me how big this has gotten and how influential Taylor Swift is. Like, it's insane to me. So the game last Sunday, Chiefs versus Jets, it apparently had the most watched Sunday game or Sunday in NFL football since the Super Bowl, with Rihanna, which obviously the Super Bowl with Rihanna was crazy because she like came back and everyone was kind of like, where is she? And she was pregnant. It was crazy. Also love her. Hope she comes out with music soon, but that's besides the point. But yeah, it had the most watched. I think it was just most watched Sunday since the Super Bowl. And I'm like, obviously, because I'm sure it's all these like younger girls or just like kids who love Taylor Swift who are now tuning into NFL Sunday football, probably plopping down on the couch next to their dad being like, yeah, let's watch so that I can look for Taylor Swift up in the box. So anyway, that's what went through my head is it's all these people who don't watch football are now, joining their boyfriends or fiancés or parents and trying to get a glimpse of Taylor on the TV. And I'll just be honest, it's just gotten annoying to me, and I got really annoyed and frustrated, and I don't know why. But I think if I had to pick a reason why, it's just kind of annoying to me, the whole situation with her in the NFL. I think it's because this is the first year in my 23 years of life on this earth that I actually got into NFL football. This was the year I'm like, I'm going to be married. I joined a fantasy league for the first time this year. I joined a fantasy league, killed. I won the first 3 weeks. Okay. Crushed it. Okay. I was into it. I was watching all the games. I was literally with my fiance one Sunday, sat down the whole time, watched all the games. I was so into it. And I was like, wow, this is actually kind of cool. And I was really getting into football and all of that. And this was before everything with Taylor Swift came out. And so then when all of that came out with Taylor Swift, everyone started talking about the NFL and everyone started talking about, okay, well, this is what this means. And this is what a touchdown means. And this is how many points you get, blah, blah, blah. And everyone started talking about football and the NFL. And I'm over here like, well, now I'm just going to look like a bandwagon because the one year I actually pay attention and, get into it. Now everyone else is. And I just look like I'm a bandwagoner, if that's even a word. So I thought I was all cool and different and was going to be like the most amazing fiance because I actually was enjoying it. And now I'm just like annoyed that this is all happening. And I am very happy for them. Don't get me wrong. I love Taylor. I'm very happy. I just wish, can she not date this NFL player right now, the one year I get into it? Anyway, I digress off my soapbox about that. Anyway, but this week, Travis Kelce's mom went on the Today Show. Obviously, they were going to try to grill her about Taylor and Travis and their relationship. But I think she was very, very discreet about things. She said something like she doesn't really know where it's going to go with them just because it's so new. And then she was asked basically how it was like meeting her because that was apparently the first time that they met, that first football game. And all she said was it was okay. Now, I don't know about you, but if I just started dating a guy and the mom or the family or anyone or the friends especially was like, it was okay. I don't care if they're just saying it to try and like be really discreet about their relationship. Like, that's just the word okay. I'm also very sensitive when it comes to words. Like, if you don't send me an emoji or 10 exclamation marks, I automatically think you're pissed off at me. But to say it's okay where like everyone obviously is going to be watching this, I don't know. And maybe they do talk and Taylor knows that she was just saying that just so that they're trying to keep everything private, but there's got to be a better word than saying it was okay. That would just kind of hurt my feelings a little bit if I heard that, but that's all she said basically, is that it's a new budding romance. It was okay, and that was all they got, and then they just moved on from the whole Taylor conversation. So who knows? And I kind of think that I don't want to say this is a PR stunt because they don't need any PR. Like, both of them don't need any of it, but it seems a little weird to me. It seems, well, I'll get into what the NFL has been doing. They've really been loving this. I think, now everyone's into it, but I know the NFL's Instagram has something in their bio about Taylor Swift. And then on YouTube TV, this is crazy to me. On YouTube TV, when the Chiefs game was going on, I think it was just the Chiefs game. I don't know if it was all of the games that day, but the little, if you have YouTube TV, there's that red bar at the bottom. And instead of the little white dot, it was a heart, heart hands, that Taylor Swift does. It was heart hands. That was the cursor on the thing. They are really, really getting into this. So go NFL, go them, because everyone I think is into it. I wonder though how long it's going to last, because now we're going into week, is it 3 or 4? I don't seem like an NFL fan. I swear I am. I forget if it's week 3 or 4, but I wonder how long they're going to keep up with this, with the whole Taylor Swift thing, because I just know people are going to get annoyed. Not necessarily the people that are Taylor Swift fans, but I think people who genuinely have their life revolve around, Sunday Night Football and Monday night and Thursday night, and, have been doing this for years and years and years, and have their NFL team and have parties about it. And then it's kind of now it's all surrounding Taylor Swift. And I did read that, what was it? Oh, at the Giants game this week, they put some video of Taylor. I forget what it was about. Maybe it was about her movie that's coming out soon, of her concert, and people started booing the video, and here's what I'll say. I'm not hating against Taylor. I love Taylor. I wouldn't say I'm a full-on Swiftie at all. I'm not going to claim that, but I do love her. But I will say, if I was not a Taylor Swift fan and everyone was kind of shoving it and pushing it down my throat, I'm going to get annoyed. And I'm already annoyed because I thought I was going to be superstar fiance, NFL lover, and now it's now everyone's just dealing with the NFL because of Taylor Swift. So, I mean, good for them. The NFL is probably making a lot of money. They're getting a lot of views. So this should be interesting to see how long it lasts. And I wonder if she's going to show up at this next game. I know at last week's game, she was with Sabrina Carpenter, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, all of that. So it's kind of just this big celeb fest. I feel it's back at the Taylor Swift concert when they would have the box where all the celebrities that showed up would sit. And why can't they just do a separate live stream of the box so that they don't have to keep showing the box on TV, live TV, which I guess they need to do that because they're getting a ton of views and stuff. But anyway, that's about all I'll talk about Travis and Taylor. I feel they're going to be in the news every single week though, if this keeps up. Oh, and then Heinz came out with a ranch and ketchup mixed sauce bottle, because at that first game Taylor went to, she was eating chicken fingers with ranch and ketchup together. So Heinz literally made a sauce out of that because of how influential she is. That's crazy. That's got to be so stressful, having that many people that obsessed with you and doing so much. It's not even she's performing at those games, right? She's literally just showing up to these football games and getting this much attention and this much, I don't know. It's crazy to me. I get nervous at the thought of having to walk down the aisle at my wedding and everyone's staring at me. I don't know. You've got to be very strong to deal with all of that fame. So yeah, Travis and Taylor, I wish you all the best. I really hope you don't get a song written about you, Travis. So my thoughts and prayers go out to you, bud. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is Tom Sandoval. All right. A lot of you probably don't know who he is. A lot of you probably do know who he is. If you have heard of Vanderpump Rules, it's this reality TV show, basically a restaurant that just follows the lives of the waiters, waitresses, bartenders, just, full of drama, all that fun stuff. So basically, it was season 9 or 10. There was this couple, Ariana and Tom Sandoval. God, he's the worst. And then it came out that him and his girlfriend, Ariana's best friend, named Raquel, were having an affair together. And they were together for 10 years. So imagine you're dating someone for 10 years, not only find out that he's been cheating on you, but it's with your best friend and you're together with them all the time. It's psychotic. I would, yeah, there's so much to dive into, but that happened too long ago that I don't want to recap it on here, but you can look it all up because it's everywhere. And they called it Scandinoval or Scandoval, one of those with his last name. Anyway, so that whole scandal happened. And then it came out that Ariana was going to be on Dancing with the Stars. So everyone's like, oh, that's so great. She's going to be on Dancing with the Stars, kind of get like a fresh start. Just, you know, if honestly, Dancing with the Stars is my dream. I love that show. God, that'd be so fun to be on that. Anyway, so she goes on that. And then Tom Sandoval ends up going on this show, Special Forces. Savannah Chrisley's on it. Jojo Siwa. The Tyler Cameron from The Bachelor. It's basically like this insane adventure. I don't really know. I didn't watch it, but he got on Special Forces and was just saying how, you know, all of America hates him and he's doing this show to prove himself or whatever the hell he's saying. I think he's just, anyway. But then after that, he, this week on the Masked Singer reality show, got unmasked and he was on The Masked Singer. So that is his second TV show that he's been on. And it pisses me off because he's sitting there saying like, it was so nice coming on here because I wasn't judged and I had a mask on and, you know, no one knew who I was and all the bad things I've done. But I'm like, okay, why is everyone putting him on their show? Why are they giving him TV time? Why are they trying to make America feel bad for him? Like, just get the hell off the TV and go home and think about what you've done and don't come back ever again, honestly. And I know that that's not how it works, but yeah. So he's been on 2 shows because Ariana went on Dancing with the Stars. It just is, it's crazy to me. And he's getting a lot of hate from people, obviously, being like, why can't you let her have her moment? Why do you have to be on? And blah, 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 blah. And anyway, I feel bad for her, but she's honestly killing it on Dancing with the Stars. I don't think she'll win, but I definitely think she'll stay for a very, very, very long time. The last story I'm going to talk about today, I'm doing it just because it's kind of funny to me. And they are coming out with a documentary called $1 Billion Babies, and it is about Cabbage Patch Kids. Now, the reason that I just think this is so funny, if you know me, I hate Cabbage Patch Kids. I think something sketchy has always been going on with them because where I live in Georgia, they have a Cabbage Patch Kids museum. And I went there when I was really, really young. And it was a traumatizing experience for me. It's basically this huge white mansion looking house set far back on all this land. And you drive down this really long driveway and they would give you a tour of the house. And all I remember is you walk into this huge, like, dim, not really lit room. And there's this ginormous tree in the middle of the room with all of these little cabbage plants surrounding it, right? And then around the outside of the room are all these, like, dolls, Cabbage Patch dolls. So I just remember, and you can watch this on YouTube of like how they birth these Cabbage Patch Kids, but they basically, you sit around and there's like a labor delivery nurse, whatever, in this tree pulling these dolls out of the cabbage. Like the cabbage tree is giving birth to these Cabbage Patch dolls. And it's honestly traumatizing and it's so scary. And just, yeah, traumatized me. So anyway, fast forward to when I was probably still in my early 20s, so probably just a couple years ago. We were driving up to the apple farms and I saw a sign that said Cabbage Patch Kids Museum. And by that point, I just thought it was kind of like a fever dream. I didn't really know the museum was even a thing anymore or that I even went. But when I saw the sign, I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way this is actually a thing and real and still up and standing. So my mom drove me by it, okay? And it looked deserted, but it's still like, I went online and you can still apparently go do tours. But we drive by it. It's deserted, okay? And then she takes me down the driveway and drives me to the back of the Cabbage Patch Kids house museum. I'm terrified. And I look, and there's like this huge like ledge that kind of just like drops down to like, I guess, a basement area. And there's a big garage door, kind of like when you go to like the back of a Walmart or something, they have those huge doors where the trucks just kind of pull into. And there was a truck that was pulled back into the garage. And I'm thinking there's definitely something so sketchy going on there. I don't know what would be going on, but something sketchy. So now every time we would go to the farms, my mom would always drive me by it. And I would be like, please, like, this is terrifying. And she would just, you know how moms are. They just love to rile their kids up. I'm kidding. I love you so much, Mom. But yeah, so it would always sketch me out, and I always knew something creepy was going on there. So then I see this documentary coming out about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, are they going to talk about these museums and all? But they're not, unfortunately. I think it's going to be kind of a downer. I'm still going to watch it because I need to see if they do talk about anything when it comes to the museum. But I think a lot of it is pretty much just about how, I mean, obviously $1 Billion Babies, they made billions of dollars, and how big of a hit they were. I think they came out in the 80s. I think my mom used to have one, and I guess they just kept making them, and they were doing really well and sold really well. But basically the documentary is, I don't think it's anything conspiracy theory wise. I think it's just about the dolls and how big of a hit it was, and hopefully they talk about something a little scary, and I'll know that I was right, and I've always been right since I was a kid that something sketch was going on. But we will see what happens with that. So those are some really great stories. I know they were. But now I want to quickly do a little TV recap section. I love fall, not only with the weather, but I feel like that's when all the really good TV shows come back on. So I'm going to be doing my little TV segment recaps every week. So if you want to catch up on some of the shows I'm watching, that'll be really good for you, because then you can see what I have to say and we can kind of talk about them together. Well, I can talk about it too, and you can just like listen to me. But Dancing with the Stars, I've been watching. I think it's week 3 next week. And funny enough, they are doing a Taylor Swift night, which is kind of funny. But yeah, Dancing with the Stars has been really, really good this season. There's a lot. I feel like people my age would know majority of the celebrities on the show. Harry Jowsey's on it, Lele Pons, Lily from How I Met Your Mother, obviously Ariana from Vanderpump Rules. If you ever grew up watching Brady Bunch, the actor who played Greg, he's on it. He's older, but he is crushing it. Like, he is killing it. Everyone's so obsessed with him. He's probably my favorite, honestly. But yeah, there's a lot of really good people on the show. So I've been trying to keep up with that. And then The Golden Bachelor. All right, all of you, I don't care who you are, you need to watch this show because it is so wholesome and so amazing. I kind of stopped watching the Bachelor franchise a few years ago. I was really in it. Me and my friends would always do like watch shows for it, and that was super, super fun. But it kind of went downhill for me. But I saw that they were coming out with Golden Bachelor, and he is 71 years old. His name is Gary. He is the sweetest thing, and all the contestants are women 60 to 75. And they all look so freaking good. It's crazy to me. I'm like, I don't even think I'm going to look that good when I'm like 50. Hopefully I do. But yeah, they all look really, really good. But it's just super, super wholesome and so sweet. And I wrote down my favorites. So like anytime I would watch a Bachelor or Bachelorette premiere, I would always write down my favorites and try to predict who would win. So I have mine written down. I wrote them down 2 weeks ago when I watched the premiere. So I'm going to see if any of them make it to the end, but I would highly recommend watching it. They're only hour episodes, so it's honestly not that bad. It's on Hulu, and it was also the most watched premiere on Hulu ever, so it's really, really good. I would definitely watch it. And the last show I've been watching is The Kardashians. I'm a Kardashian girl. I love watching their show. I think it's so cool just because they're so successful, and it makes me want to work like super, super hard. I would never want to be famous like that, but they love to work. But I think why I like watching them is because they enjoy what they're doing and they enjoy working. And that's kind of, I want to get there at some point in my life. I want to be able to look at my life and look at what I'm doing for my job and be kind of proud of it and be happy and fulfilled with what I'm doing for my job. I think that that's kind of where you can kind of say you've not necessarily made it in life, but to be able to enjoy and love what you're doing for work, I think is something that is so special. And I love that they all get to do that. And, you know, obviously they were kind of born into a little bit of it, but it's just fun seeing how much they love their family, and family's always number one, and they're just fun to watch. So I'm definitely going to be recapping that. They're on season 4 right now. Nothing too exciting has happened in the first couple episodes, so I'm not going to get too much into it. But if any of you guys watch any of those shows, I'll definitely be recapping those. I'll try to keep it more towards the end of the episodes so that if you don't want to listen, you can just kind of skip on through. But yeah, that's my little TV recap. So normally, whenever I do have a guest on, we're going to be doing a rant segment, where, you know, if something happened that week that you just have got to rant about and you just have got to get it off of your chest, that would be the time to do so. I think it's important for us to be able to express our frustrations. It helps. It's kind of like writing in a journal your feelings. I think that ranting about it is good to kind of get it out. I don't think I have anything to rant about though right now. So I'm just going to tell you guys a funny story. I think it wasn't funny at the time, but I guess it's kind of funny. So I was watching these 4 girls, and they wanted to go on a walk in the neighborhood, and I was like, sure, perfect. But we had to be back at the house in like 40-ish minutes because one of the girls was getting picked up for soccer practice. So we go on this walk. 2 of them are on scooters. One's on roller skates. One, the baby, is walking in Crocs and doesn't have the little sport mode on the back. And obviously the 3 older girls zoom off because they're on their stuff. And the little one starts running, falls down, scrapes her knees, starts crying. There's not blood, but she wants a Band-Aid. And I'm like, okay, well, we can't all walk back because the girls are way down there on their scooter. So the oldest one goes, I'll go run, get a Band-Aid. So she runs and goes and gets some Band-Aid, comes back, and we put it on the knees, even though there's no blood. You know how kids are just like, they want a Band-Aid because it makes me feel better, which I get that. Then we walk some more, and I ask again, I'm like, do you want to just put the backs of your little Crocs on? No. And I just like, I'm also, when I'm dealing with like younger kids, they are just so stubborn. They're more stubborn than I am, and that's saying a lot. So half of the time I just don't want to deal with it, and I'm just like, whatever, okay, that's fine. So we're walking some more. She falls again. My God, yeah, falls again, scrapes her whole entire arm. I'm like, well, this is great. But she ended up fine with that one, wasn't even crying. She cried with her knees, but she wasn't crying with her arm. That was actually kind of bleeding. So it wasn't, I'm making it sound, it wasn't that bad. She was fine. But I look at the clock and I'm like, we got to start heading back in a little bit. And the 2 girls that were on the scooters, they asked me, they were like, there's a little trail that's just like a loop. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, it's this little trail that is kind of like just a circle. Okay. Girls are so sneaky. Little girls are just the sneakiest. So I get down to where the start of the trail is. And by the time we get down there, because it's like a really steep hill to get there, I'm like, all right, we got to start heading back because we're not going to make it in time. So I start trying to get the other 2 girls on the scooters, and I don't see them because they went down this trail. And I'm like, okay, well, how far back does this go? Because we're all yelling for them, and, you know, they're not coming back. So in my head, and I'm an overthinker, and I'm very anxious, and I think the worst possible outcome of every situation that I'm in. So my first instinct is, did they get abducted? Did someone come out of these woods and take these 2 little girls? That was the first thought in my head. So I'm still calling. I'm like, okay, they're obviously not coming. I got to run down there and try and get them. And I'm also barefoot, and it rained the night before, so it was all muddy and disgusting. And the oldest daughter was like, well, can I just go back and start getting my stuff together? Because, and I was like, well, yeah, because I don't want the mom coming and you not being there. Well, then the youngest daughter goes with the oldest daughter, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I didn't even think about it because my brain was already with the 2 other girls. Okay, first of all, how people have 4 kids and deals with them is crazy to me, because I was losing my mind. I was freaking out like every second. So the youngest and the oldest start walking back to the house, and I start sprinting down this trail to find the 2 girls on the scooters, because I'm like, oh my gosh. And it feels like I'm running forever. And finally I see one of the girls on the scooter is zooming back to me. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, where's your sister? Like, where the heck is your sister? And she goes, she's at the end of the trail. She fell off and she's hurt and she's crying and blah, blah, blah. And I'm freaking out, because I turn and the other 2 kids are already gone back to the house. And then I'm thinking, okay, great. Now the oldest one's going to get picked up and the baby is going to be stuck at the house with no one there. And I'm going to look like the worst human being ever. I don't do very well in high pressure situations. So I was like, all right. So I sprint some more to try to get the other girl up. She fell, she scraped her knee a little bit, and I was like, you're fine. Like, you got to get up. We got to go back and get back to the house. So then I start sprinting even faster than I was, and I step on a bee, and I get stung on the bottom of my foot. I fall to the ground. I've never been in so much pain, but there's so much adrenaline rushing through me that I just get up and I start sprinting some more. And I tell the 2 girls on the scooters, I say, scooter back home as fast as you can. Tell them I'm coming. I got stung by a bee. Long story short, we finally make it back. They were in the house fine. She hadn't gotten picked up yet. Everyone made it back safe and sound. I was not safe and sound. I was not okay. But what's so crazy, sorry, that was such a long story, but it was funny because the girls were just so chill. Like, they had no idea. Like, I was freaking out so bad, thinking of all these things that were going to happen. And then I get back to the house and they're all like, okay, can we have a snack? Can we watch this? Can we blah, blah, blah? Where's my water bottle? Blah, blah, blah. Like, just so chill. And I was like, I hope you girls enjoy this age and not worrying about life and all the bad, scary things out there. I don't know if that story was funny or just made me look like an awful person to watch your kids. I don't normally watch kids all the time. They're just family friends. So I swear I'm actually good with kids. It was just a very crazy day and situation. So no more walks for them. If I'm ever watching them, we're not going on a walk ever again. So hope you enjoyed that, and also be grateful that you don't have a bee stinger in the bottom of your foot. But also, like, how did I even step on it? That's what I don't understand, how I stepped on it. I think it was just, whenever something bad happens to me, it's very much like it happens in threes, that kind of mantra. And I think that was just the 3rd thing that had to happen to me. That was bad, which is fine. I can handle a bee sting. Oh my gosh. Anyway. All right. So I think that's pretty much all I have. It is the weekend and it is cold outside, or getting colder. I think it's like in the 60s where I am. So I think everyone needs to go out and do something fall related. I am dying. I am holding myself accountable. I am going to go to a haunted house this Halloween season. And all of you guys are going to hold me accountable to that. I want to go so bad. Ever since I was in middle school, I would tell myself every year how badly I wanted to go. But I'm such a scaredy cat. Like, I feel as though I'd walk in and get so anxious, and my heart rate, whenever I get anxious, my heartbeat gets super, super, super scarily high. And so I just feel like I'd walk in and die of a heart attack. But I really want to go to a haunted house. So if anyone has been and you're a scaredy cat as well, let me know how you managed it. If anyone has any tips, let me know, because I really want to go. I think it'd be fun to see everyone in like a costume, and I want to get a picture with like the little monster, like a cute little selfie, but it's just the whole jump scare part of it that I don't think I can handle. But I want to go, and I'm going to say it on this podcast so that I have to come back and either embarrass myself by saying I didn't do it, or actually do it and can talk to you guys and tell you all about it. So yeah, make sure all of you go do something fall, because it's super nice weather wherever you're at. I still have to do like so many fall activities. I still have to go to the fair. I still have to go to a pumpkin patch. I did go to the apple farm already, so I did do that. I have to carve a pumpkin. I have to watch a scary movie, even though I don't want to. It's so funny. I feel like the older I've gotten, the worse my anxiety has gotten. And one way I do know that for sure is when I was a teenager, I would only watch like crime shows, Blue Bloods, Law and Order, Criminal Minds. That I would watch it at night. I would watch it during the day. I would binge them. Like, that was all I would watch is crime shows. And since probably, I guess since I got into college, but I have not watched a scary criminal whatever show in years. Never, because it just makes my heart rate too much. It makes me too anxious. I pretty much just stick to my comfort shows or a podcast. But yeah, I pretty much stick to like just funny shows. I don't watch any show that's a drama. I don't know why. I think it's just my anxiety's just gotten so bad now that I'm older and I just can't do it anymore. And I miss the girl that could just sit and binge Criminal Minds because they were so good. I just can't do it. I can't do it. It's too scary for me. It's just, you see how bad the world is and things like that actually happen. It's like, I just don't want to even think about it. Gosh, I don't want to end this on a scary note like that. What else? Do you have any other funny stories? I don't know. I guess you guys don't want to hear me talk for too long. But next week I will be having a guest on. I'm definitely going to be trying to do a lot of episodes with a guest. I think it'll be a lot more fun to talk about the different things going on and give you guys advice when there's more than just yours truly. But definitely please send in advice to the email account. You can also just DM the Instagram as well if you want to. They will always be anonymous when I read them on the pod. You can do a cute little yours truly blah blah blah, like how they used to do in the newspaper. I'm super excited. Thank you guys for listening to this first podcast. I have a lot in store, a lot of fun things. I really hope you guys stick around and enjoy these super entertaining episodes and podcasts. And if you don't find it entertaining, you don't like it, like I said, just don't tell me and we'll never know. But I will see you all next week for more hot gossip, hot takes, advice, and stories that will have you saying literally what? All right, bye guys.